I thought I was signing up for a dream vacation. In my head, I pictured 8 days drifting down the Danube, sipping Riesling, watching castles glide by, and never lifting a finger. But that isn't what happened. Instead, we got surprises the brochures didn't mention, hidden details that cost us money, and mistakes that cost us sleep. This is a brutally honest look at the Avalon Impression. I'm going to reveal the specific deck level you need to avoid if you want the true river cruise experience. The physical wall that hits almost every cruiser on day 4, and the one packing mistake that nearly ruined our trip. If you're booking with Avalon Waterways or just thinking about a European river cruise, you need to know what I wish I knew before I paid my deposit. The reality check hit us before we even saw the water. We started with Avalon's 2-night extension in Prague. Now, Avalon handles the logistics beautifully. Baggage claim, driver, hotel check-in seamless. We spent the day exploring the cobblestone lanes and the astronomical clock. It felt perfect. But this is where the conflict started. Marketing for river cruises uses words like effortless and leisurely. They are lying. The reality? River cruising is an incredibly active sport. By the time we transferred to the ship in Germany, we were already feeling the burn. River cruising is actually a marathon of early mornings and miles of walking. We realized quickly, if we didn't manage our energy, this dream trip was going to turn into an endurance test. However, the moment we boarded the Avalon Impression, the vibe shifted. If you're used to ocean cruising with 4,000 people, this will shock you. No lines, no security chaos, no cattle herding. Just a quiet gangway and a glass of champagne. The ship itself was a massive surprise. It didn't feel like a boat, it felt like a contemporary boutique hotel. But the real game changer and the reason we booked this specific line was the stateroom. We stayed in a Panorama Suite. Avalon does something unique here. They angle the bed to face the window, not the wall. And it's not just a window. It's an 11-foot wide floor-to-ceiling glass wall that slides open 7 feet wide. The first morning I woke up, stayed under the covers, and just watched the mist rolling off the German hills. That was the moment. That was pure perfection. It turns your entire cabin into an open-air balcony without losing any square footage. We quickly fell into the rhythm of river life. Breakfast, excursion, lunch, sail, dinner. The food was outstanding, and the staff knew our coffee orders by day 2. We hit the classic stops. Passau, the Schlingen Oxbow, and I figured out Avalon's hidden design philosophy. They schedule the beauty during the day, and they power through the boring industrial locks at night while you sleep. A subtle detail, but it makes a huge difference. But then we hit the wall. There is a tension in river cruising nobody talks about. You pay a lot of money, so you feel a massive pressure to do everything. By Vienna, the fatigue set in. The novelty of the cobblestones wore off. Our feet were screaming. We looked at the itinerary, another palace, another guided walk. We were exhausted. We had to make a hard choice. Push through and be miserable just to say we saw it all, or skip the excursion we paid for. We skipped it. We found a quiet Viennese cafe, ordered a coffee, and just sat there. It was the reset we desperately needed. This fatigue was made 10 times worse by my own mistakes. I packed for the fantasy of a cruise, dress shirts and light jackets. I was not prepared for the reality. The Danube weather is bipolar. 1 minute it's sunny, the next the wind is freezing you to the bone. So with the exhaustion, the freezing wind, and the packing fails, was it still worth it? The answer hit me in Budapest. On our final night, Avalon took us on an illumination cruise. The captain sailed us right into the heart of the city after dark. As we drifted past the Parliament building, glowing gold against the black sky, the entire ship went silent. All the sore feet and travel fatigue just evaporated. It was, without a doubt, the most magical travel moment of my life. But if I were doing it again, I would change 3 things. Number 1, the cabin. We love the Panorama Suite, but you need to be careful. Avoid the Indigo deck. That is the lowest deck on the ship. The cabins there don't have the sliding glass wall. They have small windows high up near the ceiling, right at the water line. You get the same food, but you miss the view. Stay off the Indigo deck. Number 2, respect the cobblestones. Leave the formal wear at home. Prioritize high-quality walking shoes and bring layers. A lightweight, waterproof windbreaker is the most valuable item you can pack. Number 3, give yourself permission to do less. You don't have to get off the ship at every port. Sometimes the best vacation memory is sitting in the lounge with a glass of wine watching the world go by. We love the Danube, but honestly the castles on the Rhine River are on a totally different level. If you want to see how the Rhine compares and which river you should actually choose, click the video above, and let's travel.